Well, folks, it is June 1st here in 2031, which means it's time for the first year player draft. But as always, before we get into that, it is time to catch you all up on what has happened to get us to this point in the season. As you can see, we are 27 and 24 on the season, which is above 500. I'm definitely not going to complain too much of it being 27 and 24. But, obviously I know the preseason predictions in this game that's just one sim out of, like, however many the game is doing. So it's not like an actual, like, full thought-out projection system. It's just, like, one sim, and here's what happened in this one sim that we had of the full season. Things are not going according to that one prediction, but still, an above-average team. Plus 28 run differential. I mean, if you go by just run differential, we are solidly the third best team in the Pacific Division, which, I mean, I guess you'll take, but at the same time, I feel like we could be better as a team. And if we take a look at the wild card right now, we are situated to be, I guess we're actually situated to be the third team because the Mets are listed here because I guess the Mets and the Yankees both have the same record. They're both 35 and 16. So whichever one ends up being the top wild card will be the second place team in that division, it looks like. At least right now, obviously. But this looks all funky because they list both the teams here because they're tied. But we're actually in third place, which 4 teams do make the wild card in this current alignment. So we are in a playoff spot as of right now, but obviously you can see here a lot of teams still in the mix, so it is not a sure thing. We still need to continue to play good ball, and I would say even probably improve the way we're playing the rest of the season. A couple bad updates here. I would say terrible updates, honestly. Canada, through 5 games, went very well in the ERA, bat league average with the FIP. Immediately just tears his rotator cuff. Comes over here from the, doing air quotes, the NPB, comes over and just, boom, immediately tears his rotator cuff. Now, luckily, at least if there is a silver lining in this situation, it's that it happened very early on in the season. So it's not like a late season thing where he's going to miss like the good chunk of next year, too. He should be back for the majority of next season, you would hope. But yeah, Canada, definitely not ideal, but, still, it's bad. It's bad, folks. I'm trying to come up with like a silver lining here, but it's bad. It's bad. We were expecting this guy to be like our number 1 or number 2, and he throws 5 games and boom, tears his rotator cuff. I mean, that's just pitching, folks. It's just pitching. Now, luckily, we don't have him signed to a long-term deal at like $30 million, which is definitely a thing you can look at here and be like, well, thank God that's not a thing. So hopefully he's able to rebound and the torn rotator cuff doesn't like completely destroy his career. And the good thing is, since he is a brand new player, this is literally his first ever injury. So it's not like he has like a history of getting injured over on the NPB and then comes over and gets hurt. This was just totally bad luck on our part because it wasn't like he was fragile or anything. He just bad luck. But we also, another torn rotator cuff, Matt Joyce. I'm sure there's like maybe 2 people, if that understand that reference, but if you don't, Ben Joyce. It's Jesus Aguilar. There's a video of him where he's seeing Ben Joyce on the team, and he just goes, Ben Joyce! Not Ben. He sees Matt Joyce on the other team, and Matt Joyce! And it's one of my many brain worms that are constantly in my brain here. But, yeah, Ben Joyce, torn rotator cuff, he is going to miss this whole season, and I would imagine that we're probably not going to pick up his team option next season. A reliever coming off a torn rotator cuff has had, like, up and down years for us. Probably not somebody we're looking to bring back, so Ben Joyce has probably pitched his last game as a member of the Los Angeles Angels. We also have had Mike Broyhill. He missed a good chunk of time here. He's currently on rehab assignment. He has played 2 games down there, has gotten 5 plate appearances. Probably want to get him a couple more games down there before he comes back up. But this is what I was worried about with him. This is why I was saying I didn't want to re-sign to a long-term deal, and I haven't, because he's fragile, and he just constantly gets these like 4, 3, 5 week injuries. And it really cuts into his value. You know, he's got an insane profile. I mean, you pair this speed with a 70 gap power, and then this defense too. I mean, this guy's like an ideal center fielder. And he's just fragile. So honestly, in the offseason, we might look to trade him and just kind of just get value from him before he like totally falls off a cliff and he's still not even 26 years old. Obviously, we would like to have this guy in center field for us, but it's just the fragile and the fact that he's getting hurt so much that he's probably going to be wrecked fairly soon. We got to get value while we can. But that is obviously something we're going to do at a later time. We're not going to trade him mid-season, I don't think. But he is almost back here. Chris Sands still rehabbing from his injury he got in September of last year. And then Brian Wu is currently on the IL with a strained hamstring as well. And before we actually get into looking at how our individual players have done, let's just take a quick look at our team stats page here. Bit of a mixed bag all over the place with the hitting. We're 9th in runs scored, just flat out not good enough, I would say. We need to improve the offense. We have a better offense than 9th in runs scored, I feel like. Everything is just sort of like middle of the pack, and then we have a couple things where it's like bottom tier, like batting average and runs scored and hits. Not our game. We need to improve the hitting. The WAR, though, is a bit better, so I feel like maybe we're getting unlucky in some parts or something, but we definitely need to be a bit better with the hitting. The pitching, on the other hand, the bullpen has been really good. You can see here, 3rd best bullpen ERA, 1st in least runs allowed. So overall, the pitching has been really good. Although, if you look at these underlying numbers, probably a bit lucky. We are limiting hits and runs. The bullpen's really good, but the starters have not been great. We give up a lot of home runs still. We're not striking out a bunch of guys, but we are not walking guys anymore, and we play really good defense. So, you know, if we can cut down on those home runs possibly, maybe improve the starters a bit here towards the end of the down the stretch. Maybe the starters start to improve. Obviously, Kaneda getting hurt is a huge bummer, but hopefully things can start to improve as the year goes on. So let's take a look at this pitching staff. Right now, we have a 1 through 5 of Yuri Perez, Zach Gallen, Olimber Santa, Jacob Miller, and Amari Collar, who is up from the minor leagues. If we sort by innings pitched here, you can see Zach Gallen has had a struggling season, 10 starts, just not good. He has not been good, bad ERA plus, bad FIP minus. Giving up way too many home runs is his problem. He's never really had a home run problem, I don't think. Yeah, no, he's never really had a home run problem, and he just all of a sudden is giving up 2 home runs per 9. So you would have to imagine that this is probably gonna go down, or maybe this year is just unlucky for him. You know, we are the Angels; things are constantly fucking us. Maybe this is just what's going to be the thing with us, as Zach Gallen just all of a sudden has a home run issue, as he's getting up there in years. And in a year where he was going to be our number 3, but is now all of a sudden jolted back into being our number 2 here. And then even Yuri Perez, he's been like fine, but he hasn't been like number 1 ace sort of guy like you would hope. Olimber Santa, you could even say has been like just as good. I mean, weird. I guess maybe it evens out because Santa has the decent K rate, but he also walks a ton of guys, whereas Perez is striking out a ton of guys and he's not walking a bunch of guys. So, you know, Perez does have a good K- walk. We'd like to see the ERA take a bit more, but the FIP is definitely very solid. He's been fine. I'm not going to complain about him. Santa's been good. Jacob Miller has been bad. Bit unlucky, though. You can see the FIP minus is actually above league average, but the ERA plus, he's kind of getting gypped there. And as you can see here, 384 BABIP. He's definitely getting very unlucky, so we're probably going to keep rolling with him and see how things go, and hopefully things for him can continue to maybe you know, regress to the point of where he usually is with the FIP. Like last year, what am I looking at here? Yeah, last year he had like a 280 FIP, 270 with Milwaukee. So, you know, 384, very high for him. You know, like I said, I wasn't expecting him to put up 20, 30 numbers with Milwaukee, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's never really been good before then, so maybe I should have been more weary about Jacob Miller here, but hopefully things can regress for him. But if not, we can always make some moves. and replace him in the rotation. And then Amari Collar, you can see here, has actually been quite good. Really, really good ERA plus, really good FIP minus. He's striking out a ton of guys, walking a very minimal amount of players, a 23.2 K minus walk, 1.2 home runs. Yeah, you can see it'll drop a little bit, but we're not going to complain too much about that. And he's also somebody who only has had one start in the major leagues here because he just recently shifted to the rotation. He came up from Double-A, was got 3 starts down there, and then we had some injuries, and I was like, let's just get him up. Let's just see what he is. We put him in the long relief role, and he was very good in the long relief role. And then I think we had another injury or something. Something happened to where I was like, we need to get him in the rotation here. And we just put him in the rotation. He's had 1 start. If we look at his splits as a starter, the 1 start went very well. He went 5 innings. As in that start, struck out a ton of guys, gave up maybe like a home run or 2, but overall, solid first start. Obviously, we would like to see some of this develop a bit more, but I trust that he's going to develop that here in the major leagues. As far as the bullpen goes, Eric Rose has not been great in the pen, giving up way too many home runs. He's another guy who just has had this weird, like, huge spike in home runs per 9. We would like to see that come down, especially as a guy who has good home run suppression and is a ground ball pitcher. Not sure what's going on there with Eric Rose. Did he also develop a forkball? He did. Apparently, just here in May, he added a forkball to his repertoire. And his sinker is up to a 50. So I don't know what's going on there, but that is news to me, folks. It's not a good forkball, but it's a forkball. How often do you see a forkball in this day and age? Just a wild repertoire for him here. The 3 different like fastball types and then a forkball. That's crazy. But anyways, Andrew Healy, he has been lights out in our bullpen here. You can see really good ERA plus, really good FIP minus, 24.2 K minus walk, which is very solid. Home runs rate's about what you would expect with him. No notes on Andrew Healy. Mike Lilly has been good as well. Really good ERA plus, slightly below league average FIP minus. But overall, we'll take what he's given us. He's walking a bit too many guys right now. His walk rate has spiked a ton. If I had to guess, that would probably... I guess he's probably getting... Yeah, he's definitely getting a bit lucky, because if you look here, his ERA plus obviously very good. But the K-minus walk rate dropping this much, and the K rate dropping and the home run rate, the walk rate spiking... He's leaving too many guys on, but he's kind of getting at it and getting really lucky because he's running a 228 BABIP. Now, we don't expect him, like last year, he had a really good reliever season while having a 355 BABIP. So he's getting really lucky this season, so hopefully that can continue to go his way for us, and then maybe possibly, drop this walk rate a bit too, we would like to see. But he's been fine enough. We already talked about Collar. Lopez has been, like, fine-ish in his middle relief role. Really good ERA plus. Getting a bit lucky. With the 208 BABIP, for sure. Getting a bit lucky. Jeremiah Estrada as our closer has been he's been lights out. Really good ERA plus. A very nice FIP minus. Striking out a ton of guys. Walking less than 10%. Jeremiah Estrada is giving you what you would want to see. I don't have saves on this leaderboard, but he does have 12 saves. 12 saves in, I don't really give a shit enough to... Is blown saves on any of these? I might just be looking right past... I don't give a shit. But he's been solid in that closer role for us, and he's going to continue to pitch in that closer role. Skylar Hales has not been... I guess he's been fine. He's been really good with the FIP, and he's getting a bit unlucky, running a 341 BABIP, striking out a ton of guys. Yeah, we have relievers who are getting lucky. We have relievers who are getting unlucky. It's just both sides of the scale here, folks. We recently called up Patrick Forbes to be a member of our bullpen because we had to make some changes, and he's pitched 4 2/3 innings, very small sample size. He is getting a bit... unlucky and lucky, where I guess he's walking way too many guys, giving up home runs. He's running it's 4 2/3. I don't know why I'm deep diving into his stats here, but we'll see how he continues to pitch here in this long relief, avoid high leverage role. And then, since we had I felt like we needed some more strikeout ability. I mentioned before the season we had Chance Mako here, who obviously gives up too many home runs, but he's never really had a home run issue at any level. So I was like, let's just see what this guy can do. We've called him up here, and he's going to be in our Major League bullpen here for a bit and see what he does. He's got this devastating fastball slider combo with the big stuff. We're going to see how Chance Mako does here in our bullpen. Maybe he can give us some strikeout ability. We actually had Dwayne McKinney here up for a bit in the big leagues as well. He was one of the guys we sent down because we called him up and he was just dreadful in 10 2/3, and I was just like, we can't be doing this. You have a 3.4 home run rate. You had a 2 home run rate in Colorado last year. You had a really bad home run rate, and obviously it's Salt Lake, but this guy's just been doomed in like really bad home run environments here. And he doesn't have like the worst stats or anything, but he hasn't been good. So we sent him back down. I'm not gonna like give up on him or whatever, but he's never like going to be a key piece for us anyways. But he was not good in the major leagues, so he's back down in Salt Lake. And then the other reliever move we had to make was because Ben Joyce got hurt, obviously. Now, as far as the bats go, let's sort by WAR here. Logan O'Hoppe, already a 2 WAR on the season, a 151 WRC plus, 8 doubles, 9 home runs. He's doing his thing. Not really any complaints for Logan O'Hoppe. This boy, I saw the thing here and I was like, that boy is exhausted. Shout out to the Wrens. But yeah, he's doing his thing. He's Logan O'Hoppe, folks. What do we expect from him at this point? Juan Soto's doing his thing. 148 WRC plus, 1.4 WAR as the DH. 6 doubles, 12 home runs, 12 stolen bases as well. He's turned into this just 30-30 guy every season at this point. Dylan Carlson's really playing well here, and he's doing it against righties and not lefties, which is what you would think is the opposite for his splits. So a bit of a weird season for him. I do think the lefties are going to come around, though. He's had a very, very small sample size against lefties, as we've only faced a few of them this season. But good to see that he is mashing righties when he is in the lineup for them, which is every day because he is in there for his defense, and he's still playing a very solid right field for us. And then we have Nolan Shanuel doing his thing. 139 WRC plus, 9 doubles, 11 home runs. He's the big bopper first baseman. He's doing what he does. Nolan Shanuel. And I should be reporting here that if we so decide to bring him back, I would not give him this. I would not sign him through his age 40 season. But it looks like he is willing to not sign for like $40 million a year. We could probably talk him down a bit. I might do this mid-season. I might check back in here in this episode and being like, hey, we have a Shanuel deal. But, I would definitely not be opposed to doing this because, it's fun to keep the guys around. If you've got a guy like Shanuel and a guy like O'Hoppe, it's more fun to have them on your team long-term and see how their careers go than it is to be like, oh, we got to get rid of this guy because we're not getting the X amount of value per dollar. Shut up. We might bring him back. That's what I'm saying. Then Khalil Watson, you can see here, positive WAR, really bad offense. But he's playing a solid enough shortstop. He's actually playing a really good shortstop. A 4 ZR, we will take that all day long. He's on the team to play defense for us. He's playing defense. We'll take that as our 9 hitter. Anthony Gutierrez here. He is only playing against lefties, and he is absolutely mashing lefties, but he's also played against righties a bit because Carlson's had a couple like day-to-day injuries where he benched him for like a week and stuff like that. So Gutierrez has played a bit against both, and he's like holding his own against righties, I would say. But overall, we still like what we see from him, playing solid defense as well. Anthony Gutierrez has been a solid player for us, I feel like. Solid like bench platoon guy. Sadid Matthews got called up because we've had injuries. He came up to be our backup like center fielder, fourth outfield type guy, because Gavin Turley's been our center fielder with Broyhill hurt. George Lombard as our bench player, 89 plate appearances, 95 WRC plus, fine for a bench player. Juan Padilla, he has gotten off to a slow start here, but this bat is just too good to not believe in. It's just a slow start. I believe by the end of the season, Juan Padilla his numbers are going to be much better. This is just too good of a profile not to believe in. If we take a look at his month-by-month splits here, really bad April, and it's starting to climb up here. So I'm hoping that we haven't seen his June numbers yet. Or I guess this week it's been... Or no, we're about to play June. What am I saying? So maybe, by the end of June, it's starting to even climb even more. And by the end of the season, we will see what Juan Padilla can truly be for us. But overall, we're not taking him out of lineup or anything. He's playing a good enough third base. He's not a liability there. You'd think he'd be a much better third baseman with the 70 third base ability, but, it is what it is. Hopefully Padilla is able to turn it around for us and be a solid key contributor, cornerstone piece for us. Gavin Turley has been holding his own in center field. He's not a negative WAR player simply because he's playing a really good center field, but he's just a complete zero at the plate here. Somehow has managed 10 doubles and 13 ribbies and 14 runs, but he's just not it. But yeah, he is what he is at this point. He's only playing because Broyhill got hurt. Peter, the backup catcher, and then Zach Neto's having a disappointing start, but he's done this for us before. He's had slow starts this season, and you can see here, he has rebounded every single time. This is not the first time that we've been like, Zach Neto, you need to turn it around, and then he ends the season with a 3 WAR. He's Zach Neto. We've come to expect that from him at this point. He can do the damn thing. I had a guy, for all of you who've been around here forever, I had a guy named Peter Mooney? It was Peter Mooney, wasn't he? It was Peter Mooney with the San Francisco Giants franchise. He was the 5'6" second baseman we had. Every year it seemed like he got off to a slow start, and then by the end of the year he was our 2-hitter, just mashing dudes. He was just the dude. So Zach Neto is Peter Mooney. They both play second base. They're the damn thing. The 5'6" hit machine. Throwback to you guys who remember that guy. And then also Josh Johnson here has just been totally awful. I don't really have anything to say about him other than that. It's just really, really bad. 51 WRC plus. You're in there for your bat. You've been awful. Now, luckily, he hasn't been too bad in left field. He's actually been holding his own, which is better than he had been in left field. But, you're a bat first guy. You cannot be doing this. And he does have options. He has all 3 of his option years left. We can send him down, and I might think about doing that and getting somebody else in this left field spot for us, because we need a bat there to play. We need a guy who can come in, a lefty bat who can come in there and mash. A bit of a righty feaster, as they say. People are always saying righty feaster. Everybody's always talking about righty feasters. Josh Johnson, his time might be up here. We might give him 1 more month here, or we might dip down in the minor leagues and see what we can do. Now, unfortunately, down in the minor leagues, Will Gasparino, not a lefty hitter, but he does have solid enough ratings against righties to where I might run him out there, try to get some more pop in the lineup with the 60 home run power. But he currently does have a pending injury, so he might not end up being the option for us to play left field. We do have Harrison Didowick, who we might give a shot here. Now, obviously, you look at Didowick's ratings compared to Johnson's ratings, and you're like, Didowick's worse. But, sometimes you just got to get a different guy in there. Now, I will say Didowick is not really playing in AAA because he's kind of down the depth chart at this point. But, we can't really look at his AAA stats and be like, oh, this guy's tearing things up, we're going to call him up. But honestly, a kind of sneaky possible guy we might put in there against righties in left field is Khalil Lee here. Veteran, almost 33 years old, lefty guy. We picked him up on a minor league deal. He's never really done anything. If we go to the major leagues here, he's played a bunch in the major leagues with the White Sox here since 2027. Really being looks like maybe a platoon guy, maybe he's not a platoon guy. I don't know. He's not playing every day, but he's getting 300 plate appearances per season. And he's never really done too much with that. 90, 83, 67, hit some doubles. Maybe we can get some more value out of him. He obviously strikes out a ton for a guy who doesn't give you a lot of home runs. But he's interesting enough for me. It's hard for me to see this much teal and blue on here, even if it does have some yellow and orange. It's hard for me to see that stuff and be like, ooh, maybe this guy stinks. Or maybe it's hard for me to see this guy and be like, oh, this guy can't give you some value. Because I think he can with the 60 BABIP, the 70 gap power, and the 65 I. Now, obviously, you would like to see the gap power paired with a much better speed. Because as I understand it, speed is literally just the value of running on the base paths, like how fast you can do. So like pairing gap power and speed is like the ideal thing, and then all these other stats are the other things. Like the stealing ability and aggressiveness are the stealing ratings. The base running is like I don't know. I guess how effective they run the bases. But as far as I understand it, speed directly ties into hitting doubles, extra base hits. Is at least that's how I understand it. So you would like to see the gap power be with more speed here, but it's not the end of the world. The 70 gap power should be able to, you know, still do things, especially once you pair the eye with his ability to get on base with the walks, with this 70 stealing ability and 65 stealing aggressiveness. I feel like that is a solid player. So we honestly might call him up and see how he does with some extended run here in left field and try to get us some ability here at that corner outfield position. Or we can give Sadid Matthews some run there, but I think I would probably want to run Sadid Matthews more as the backup. We would probably, if we called up Lee, we would probably do something where like Lee starts and then Matthews plays like, I don't know, like every 3 games or something, or every 4 games, just to get him some run and see kind of who separates themselves as the legitimate guy who should be starting, at least for now. All this to say, really, that like left field is a spot that we could absolutely look to upgrade here at the trade deadline, as well as the pitching, because we need to improve the pitching. I say that, but obviously we are first in runs allowed, but like all this underlying stuff, like I don't like that the WAR and the starters ERA and the home runs allowed are so low. We would like to be able to, have some dudes in the rotation here that could actually, keep us grounded, keep us settled. But now, let's hop into the first-year player draft here. We have the 17th overall pick this season. Or no, we have the 19th. We were 17th. We now have the 19th because of how the lottery shook out. The Raleigh Oaks just got absolutely, and the Rays got absolutely shafted in the lottery. You really got a feel for the Raleigh Oaks here. Expansion franchise coming in here and getting shafted like that, dropping down to 8th, and then the Yankees go to 9th. That's just disgusting. Disgusting. I mean, I don't even... that's awful. But I don't really care too much about the mock here. But we will hop into the draft here. Sort by potential. All players. We'll just put this on draft haters for now. And we'll see who San Francisco takes here at number 1 overall, because I like to see who goes 1 overall here in these classes. It is a pitcher, Jared Clarence Longshot Gillig from New York, New York. Went to Ohio State. Very nasty. Once again, these college pitchers in these classes just look like dudes that I would love to have. Now, obviously, we have the 19th overall pick, so probably a guy like this is not going to be available for us, but the... Who just took that pick? The San Francisco Giants look like they had themselves a dude here in the big league. So we'll move things on to our pick, number 19, and boom. Looks like we've got a high school, or a college arm here from St. Bonaventure. He's on the Bonnies, but he does have the low work ethic, low intelligence, and low leader, and low adaptability. I keep fat fingering right click and dropping back. Now, obviously, he has the really good control potential. Looks like he could limit home runs really well, but we've already been burned by a low work ethic, intelligence guy with Chase Shores. This guy's even... Even his teammates are like, yeah, that guy's clueless. This guy can really... He's our Friday starter, but you don't want that guy making any decisions for you. This guy's fucking name is Clueless. Okay. I don't think we're going to take this guy, but that is genuinely very funny. Very funny. I don't think we want to take a high school guy here. We're definitely going to lean college dudes. So we've got, like, Chad Siebert here, who is a college guy, but he doesn't have this home run allowed developed, like, at all, which scares me. This guy doesn't have the greatest personality class. He's a ground ball from Stony Brook. You guys know I love... His nickname is Slider. Does he even throw? He doesn't even throw a slider, and his nickname is Slider. We love that. That's like Cutter Crawford having a bad cutter. The Cut Man, folks. But John Taylor, College of William and Mary. No. Dave Wells has some pop to him. Switch hitter. It looks like he got taken last year and didn't sign with the Mets. Out of so he got taken out of high school and then he went to JUCO and now he's back in the draft class here. So yeah, he's a college guy technically, but he's 18. Uh, yeah, not like a true college guy. We already looked at this guy. Zaire Danley from Binghamton. I mean, none of these dudes stand out to me. Eccleston, I'd like to see the defense be better if I'm going to take him here. Hudson. Oh, whoops. Hudson's interesting because he has the power eye BABIP trio there that I like to see. Decent framing catcher, bit of an Austin Barnes though behind the plate where he can frame but he can't throw anybody out. But the Void K's is very scary. Very scary there, especially for a first round pick. Yeah. I would say that's scary. And he's a catcher. So like he's a college catcher, so you would hope that he gets to the big leagues fast, and we have Logan O'Hoppe signed long term. So it's like, you don't really draft for need in baseball. But with this, I think we're going to be making the executive decision not to take a catcher because we just signed O'Hoppe long term. He's going to be our catcher for a long time, and Hudson's not really going to have a role on the roster. I mean, this guy is interesting enough to me. He's got the really good personality class, can play a decent corner outfield for you. He's got 55 speed, which can pair with the possible 55 gap power. And then he's got the really good contact BABIP Void K. This guy's like an all doubles, never going to strike out, but he's not going to hit for any home runs. He's not going to walk a ton. He's all just put the ball in play, which I don't mind. I made a living taking a bunch of guys like this with my Royals sim that I'm constantly referencing, but maybe not in the first round here. I mean, I keep saying that I don't want to take this guy and I don't want to take a high school guy, but it's just like none of these college dudes stand out, man. We're just at the point in the draft where these college guys just are not people who stand out to me as like these dudes you should be prioritizing over the high school guys. They're just not that good to me. I mean, this guy's interesting. Okay. Okay. Whoops, I didn't mean to back out like that. Who was that? That was Gordy Henning? Yes, Texas Tech. We all know I love it, folks. We all know I love Texas Tech. He's got good personality, good speed. I don't give a shit about it all but the sack bump, but he's obviously very good at it. 65 range, 65 arm. I feel like there's a lot of guys who have good range but bad arms in this game. This guy, good range and good arm. Line drive hitter, we'd love to see that. Yeah. Now it is a Void K more than BABIP, but he does have the good gap power. Power could get up to 50. The eye can improve as well. The eye's never going to be great though. It's really he's a contact doubles hitter with good speed and good defense. But the question is, do we prefer somebody like Gordy Henning here, who is probably my favorite of these guys I've seen so far, even though he's a 50, and we've got 55s up here. I mean, this guy is... he's a corner outfield, Beans. Shout out to Mitchell Parker, who looks like Beans from Even Stevens. I can't take credit for that. That's something I heard on the Barbacast. If you guys aren't big fans, my main baseball podcast to listen to is the Barbacast with Jake Mintz and Jordan Schusterman. Shout out to them. And they made the distinction that Mitchell Parker on the Nationals looks like Beans from Even Stevens. So I'm seeing that immediately. That's what's popping in my mind here. But this guy, interesting enough power bat to where I might prefer him over Gordy Henning. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's a left fielder because he has the bad arm. I don't want to play an arm like that in right field. So he's not the greatest defensively. Gordy Henning gives him an advantage because he has the defense. So I think we still like Henning more. Um, was there a 65? Yeah, who's this Chris Mira guy? He's like a. I don't think he's a shortstop. He's more of a second baseman. The error. I don't know how much error really matters, but I think I still prefer Henning the most out of all these college bats. Now, obviously, Hoskins is very. He's tempting even if he is clueless and has the work ethic intelligence. And I'm sure if I took him here, there'd be a bunch of you guys screaming at the screen right now, don't do it! Don't do it! It's a bad deal! But it's hard to pass this up. But at the same time, it's, you know, I probably won't. I don't think we're going to go that route. And I really don't want to go the high school route either. I want to go college guy here. So honestly, since I'm seeing this Rigdon guy, I think I prefer him over. What am I doing sorting my range? Over Gordy Henning. Let's compare the two dudes. So Gordy Henning, Jeremy Rigdon here. Henning has already developed more than Rigdon, but they're both 21 years old. They're both 2009 birth years, which makes me feel old as shit. They're literally 1 day apart. Yeah. I mean, Henning has got the better overall bat. Yeah, so Henning's got the better overall bat, but Rigdon's not an awful bat. He's a better bat than Alvaro Dowd is. I'll say that much. And then it's like, you know, Henning is not a 60, he's not a 70 range, but he's got a 65 range. And now Rigdon, maybe he's not an elite shortstop because he has the only 60 turn double play. Now I'm not sure how that much matters, but he does have the 70 range, the 75 arm. He's probably still a really. I mean, they don't think his potential is better at third base than it is at shortstop. So maybe it is rigged. Maybe it's not rigged in here. Maybe it is Henning that we should go with. I think that's what I'm leaning. I believe that's what we're gonna go with. Is Gordy Henning first overall here? He's cheap. We don't have to wipe out all of our budget on him. Now, obviously, Hoskins looks like the better prospect, but I really just can't get burned on this again. I just can't. Even though this guy's outlook is just so good. I mean, OSA thinks he has an Anti control. Oh my god. Goes out of the way to earn attention. I mean, this guy is just nothing going on between the ears, folks. It's a bad deal. Oh my god. Really good at holding runners. He's gonna have, like, look at this pitch mix, dude. Slider, curveball, changeup, splitter, cutter, knuckle curve, all of them expected to at least be in the green. I mean, pitchers are a bit of a weirdo, but I think he's too good to pass up, folks. I really do. A 70 potential college guy at this point. We can fix him. We can fix him, folks. We just can. We can fix him. We can fix him. We can fix him. That's just what it comes down to. We can fix him. I've done it. We've made the decision. We move things on round 2. Boom. Who knows? Maybe Gordy Henning's still here. He is, folks. He's still there. I'm a genius. Now I would have felt like a dumbass for taking a guy like this in the first round who's here second round. Unless we want to go, like, I mean, he's a first baseman. We don't need him. He's not an actual center fielder. Campos is intriguing because he's got the really good contact bat with the really good personality. Really, he's durable already, too. Now, he is a lefty, and right now it doesn't look like he has bad splits. But I think that Gordy Henning is better because he has the possibility to get his gap power up to 65. And he's also got a good personality class, and he has the 65 range, which could improve to 70. You never know what could happen. That could jump up. That's what happened to Broyhill. When we traded for Broyhill, he was a 65 range, and boom, all of a sudden he's a 70. So I think Gordy Henning's the move here. That's who we were going to take round 1. He's still here round 2. We're taking him. Gordy Henning. Boom. That's our second round pick. Wreck him, folks. Move things on, not round 3 because we had the compensation pick, and we move things on to round 4. This first baseman dude with the high is still there, the holy duo. This guy is still here, which I am tempted to take. This is an interesting center fielder. Very nasty that he's at the Nepo baby Fordham University Broadcaster School. You go there, your folks are rich folks. You're on the fast track to a major league gig. But yeah, 60 range, maybe. He's interesting enough. Georgia Gwinnett College, 60 range. I'm just so college brained right now with one, the NCAA tourney going on. 2, college football 25 is right around the corner, folks. Right around the corner. And then 3, I'm also just college brained in general with this stuff. It's just how my brain works, where I remember dudes based on colleges that even in this game where it literally does not matter. I just happen to be just boom. Eyes go straight for the school to see if I can make a joke about, where some guy is from. Let's go college. But yeah, there's not really any college arms here. There's this guy, Dan Brannock, who I'm not opposed to. Very nasty Florida. But he's a ground baller. We all know I love the ground ballers, folks. He's a lefty who's really good at holding runners. A good personality class to get the adaptability and the low financial ambition. He's got a good enough pitch mix to where he could be a decent starter. Now, obviously, this guy's never going to be a top end of the rotation piece for you, but this guy, he could eat some innings for you as like a 4 or 5 guy in your rotation. Absolutely, give you some lefty capability as well. Absolutely. I mean, they're valuable, folks. And look how developed this guy is already. I'm tempted to take Dan Brannock here, which I think we're just going to do. We're just going to go straight ahead and do it, folks. Dan Brannock, unless this guy, jumps out of it. No. No. Let's go starters. Josh Hughes. Nah, not really. Pat Porlier. Snaggletooth. What a name. High leader work ethic. Interesting enough, but I don't think he's better than Brannock. So we're taking Brannock here, folks. Boom. Dan Wildfire Brannock. Interesting name for a guy who's more of like a finesse control pitcher. You're not really Wildfire there, guy. Maybe, I don't know. I was trying to come up with a theory for why he's Wildfire, but it just doesn't make sense to me. So we move things on round 5. Who are we looking at here? Are there any, holy duo guys up top here? David Wells still here. Dave Wells, I guess. Switch hitting. JUCO first baseman. Who does look like he could be, if he develops, he could be a really solid power bat for you. But it just, is this going to develop? Because he's essentially a high schooler. Campos, we talked about him. He's still here. I mean, the fact that he's still here makes me want to take him because he's just too good of a outlook for me to really pass up. This high school pitcher, I'm tempted to take too because he's got really good personality class, so I feel like that will help him actually develop. He's a high school guy, but none of these are in the red. He's at least developed some of all of this. And I'm tempted to take him, honestly. I am. As opposed to this guy who also has nothing in the red and has a good personality, but it just doesn't look like that third pitch is going to develop. So this guy's probably going to be a reliever. Whereas Quintilla here looks like he could give you like fifth starter type stuff, but who knows what could happen with his development. Or there's obviously Campos, who is closer to the big leagues, gives you some really good contact hitting with some mediocre outfield defense, which, a guy who plays a good left field for you is pretty easy to improve because that is one of the improved positions that is easy in the development lab. So we could feasibly get this guy up to being a really solid corner outfielder with this bat. Plus the fact that he's durable makes me kind of want him, folks. But the fact that he hasn't gone yet makes me think, we did say we were going to take O'Connell here, but now we're looking at Campos and Quintanilla, something like that. Quintanilla. It's probably Quintanilla, Bob Quintanilla. And the fact that you're born in 2013 and your name is Bob, I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. First of all, because 2013, you were born that year. That's people don't exist who were born in 2013. This guy's he's a baby. He's a little tiny baby. I think we prefer Campos here. So we're gonna go Campos. We're gonna meet his demand. We move things on around 6. Quintanilla is still there, but this guy's interesting. Coming in at Navy, that's crazy. Really good gap power combo, 55 BABIP, 55 I. He's a corner outfielder, but he's got really good speed to pair with the gap power, which I always talk about. I feel like we're constantly taking outfielders because it's just, I don't know, the outfielders just seem to always look enticing to me. I'm scared to not take O'Connell here and then lose out on him because somebody takes him, even though he's a 40 potential. He does have the 70 range. But at the same time, he's already 22. We've already got somebody like Keel, who's, I guess, almost 26. Similar sort of looking player enough, I would say. We've got Novak, who's 22, almost 23. He's in high A ball. Doing okay enough. I think I prefer Higdon, though. I think I prefer this bat. It's just the fact that this gap power, BABIP, I, with the speed, is looking like it could be that. I think we're going to go Higdon here. He's going to be our dude. Boom, we're taking him here in the 6th round. We move things on around 7. O'Connell is still there. Is Quintanilla. We should probably just sort this by starters. Quintanilla's gone. So Quintanilla's gone. We missed out on him. This guy looks interesting, though. He's a snowbird, folks. He's the son of snowbirds. And there is still this big bopping potential first baseman here, Dave Wells. I mean, it's just the 65 power as a first baseman, high work ethic, intelligence. Makes me think this guy could be like a legitimate... And he's 6'9". We're taking Dave Wells, I think. We're going to go Dave Wells. Boom. Now we're going to get screwed and O'Connell's not going to be there. Yep. Who's the genius, folks? Me. That's right. I'm a genius because I did not take him and then predicted that he wasn't going to be there when I clicked the auto draft the next pick button. That makes me a genius, folks. And then we're just gonna keep this going with the college bats here. Aiden Husey, whatever this guy's name is, from Augusta, Georgia. Looks like he could be an interesting like second baseman type guy for you. So we're gonna take him here in round 8. And I think we're probably gonna do the rest of this off recording here and then just pick things up here at the end of the draft. Alrighty, so we are here at the end of the draft. It's time to go over the full class here. Just once again hitting on Mike Hoskins here. Let's put this back on Head Scout. Us rolling the dice on seeing if we can make this work. We can fix him, folks. He's clueless. There is a town in northern Illinois. Clueless. We're going to fix him. That's just what it comes down to. So, first round pick, he was our first round pick. I believe we left off taking Aiden Husey here. He was our 8th round pick. So, round 9, we took Sean Wagner, high school catcher, good framing, potentially a good power bat as well. We took him round 9. We moved things on round 10. We take Andy Johnson, high school arm. Thought he had interesting enough like home run suppression, 60 stuff potential, good pitch mix here to where, like, you know, if he develops, he could be an interesting arm. Then we took 70 range outfielder in round 11 out of high school. He is also durable. You know, there wasn't too much stuff late round here. We're just taking guys with like maybe one skill and hoping they can develop some more. Then we took a high school catcher again, Jaheim Alcindor, great name, 60 framing, decent personality, also some power potential on his part, switch hitting catcher. Then we took RJ Bovey, a JUCO reliever, really good potential fastball slider mix, 70 stuff potential. The control might be a huge issue for him, but, you know, very late round pick, possible reliever potential there. Jimmy McDonald, same sort of thing with him. Big stuff, big 2-pitch mix. Extreme fly ball we don't like, but, you know, late round reliever potential sort of guy. Then we took high work ethic, intelligence, college reliever out of Washington State. Go Cougs. Then we took another college reliever out of Davidson in North Carolina, 16th round pick. He's a lefty side armor, specialist type guy. Then we took a guy out of Canada with a very QC name, Jeremy Terriel. It doesn't have the accents over anything for Terrier, but dudes from Quebec. This guy isn't from Quebec, but dudes from Quebec love having this name, my name, with the accents above it. I've noticed sometimes they spell with the IE at the end. Very common name, I feel like I see a lot with QC dudes nowadays. Then we move things on. J.J. White. We took him as a catcher, but he's a first base DH type power potential, 18th round pick. Another Wisconsin guy. I feel like we have a billion Wisconsin guys. He's a Wisconsin guy. Then we also took Chris King, extreme ground ball reliever out of high school. Control is going to be a huge issue for him, but the rest of this stuff looks to be quite good. But very late round pick. It is what it is. And then in round 20, just in case you thought we were done taking Wisconsin guys, boom, there's another Wisconsin guy from a very just Wisconsin name. I mean, when you think Wisconsin towns, that's what you picture as the name, even though he was in high school in Virginia. But he's our 20th round pick here, high work ethic sort of guy. That was our draft class here. And my game is running weird where, little tip for you at the end of the episode. I might have mentioned this previously, but sometimes when you play OTP, it's just something that happens, at least in my games. I don't know, maybe you guys have supercomputers and this isn't how it works for you. But sometimes when you have the game open for a while, which is generally how it tends to be when you play OOTP, you'll go here and things are not as snappy and responsive as they should be. You're trying to make changes to the lineups, things take a half second to load, and you're like, what the hell's going on? This needs to be snappy and responsive. It's a text-based game here. I used to just have to do full restarts because I thought that was the only way to fix it, and it really annoyed me. But for whatever reason, you are able to go into settings, into 3D here, max frames per second on no limitation for me. Literally just reselect no limitation and hit OK, and boom, you'll notice an immediate difference. Anybody who knows what I'm talking about, if you want to know how to way to fix this, for me, it works like a charm. Literally, you feel the game getting a bit laggy like that, just do that, and boom, immediately, it's better.